Yes, peace and love, wonderful family. Welcome to the People Correspondence Show on the Blackwood Financial Media for the 21st century. I hope that you're doing fantastic on the 13th day of the month of April, the year 2021. And this is a People Correspondence Show where we get to delve into what is happening on the continent of Africa. We get to discuss issues from social, economic, political issues, business issues, environmental issues, and a whole lot of other things in between. So, welcome. In case you're joining us for the very first time, my name is Spikes, and you are actually on the rightful network for another wonderful show. We get to discover or get to understand Africa better. That is really the goal for this particular one, where I get to take you to different places on the continent of Africa so that you can discover the gem that we call Africa in its entirety. There are so many things. That I'll talk about the continent of Africa. But we do come here on the show and get to demystify some of these particular issues, whether they are true or whether they are not true. And you also get to discover what's good on the continent, current issues, historical issues. We also get to predict the future on this particular show. Sister Lightbearer, thank you so much for joining us. I think you added something onto your name, which is Lightbearer, naturally spiritual, which is really wonderful. The addition that you put your name on here, naturally spiritual. We as a Black people are naturally spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We might not know it. People might not live without particular knowledge, but we are actually spiritual beings having a physical experience. And that is what it is. We should live without particular knowledge. Most of the time, we do see ourselves as physical beings having a spiritual experience, but we are actually spiritual beings having a physical experience. But anyhow, I will not be getting into that. I want to take us all the way into a beautiful country on the continent of Africa. Maybe you have never heard me discuss about this country on the show for many reasons. First and foremost, you happen to realize that for Djibouti, which was once part of Ethiopia, there is not a whole lot of news coming from Djibouti. You might ask yourself why. I believe that there is not much press freedom in Egypt, in Djibouti. That is why maybe you might not be able to hear news and updates coming from Djibouti. But before we start off the show, I want to share with us some wonderful proverbs from Djibouti. This is one of the 54 countries on the continent of Africa, a very small country. I believe it's equivalent or it's equal to maybe Rwanda or Burundi in size. I will be confirming that. It might be the equal. It might be the same size with Burundi or Rwanda. I will be confirming that. But I want to share with us some wonderful words of wisdom from the ancestors or from the wise in Djibouti. And the proverb reads, the mighty tree falls and the little birds scatter in the bush. The mighty tree falls and the little birds scatter in the bush. That is 100%. When you look at our families, for example, these you will find in a family where we do have the breadwinner. Maybe it's a father who is a breadwinner of this particular family. And then the father happens to fall ill. They might get cancer, they might get any other ailment, and they pass on, or they pass away. So what does happen is that the children, if at all, maybe the man had not made proper kind of arrangements, even for when he's gone, the children also get to suffer. So this is what I do believe also is being alluded to with this particular proverb. When they read, the mighty tree falls and the little birds scatter in the bush. The mighty tree falls and the little birds scatter in the bush. That is why you will find that when there is reliance on one, like I did say, give an example of a breadwinner who is a mighty tree in this particular case. When they do get to fall, there is also suffering with the rest of the people or the dependents of that particular mighty tree. And there is a second one, which also comes from Djibouti as well. It reads, rather than get up and do a bad dance, stay put. Rather than get up and do a bad dance, stay put. I'm not sure about this particular one. It reads, instead of just standing up and doing a bad dance, just stay put. Just stay where you are. Do not go to embarrass yourself. I would say for some people, if you look at the literal meaning of it, some people will just go into the dance floor not caring whether they are doing a good or bad, or whether their dance movies legit or it's not. And but when it comes to be taking precaution, you'd rather, if you not do about a thing, do not go pretend yourself to be the master of the thing, then end up ruining your own, or end up messing up things. So that is what the proverb, I believe, gets to infer to. Rather than get up to do a bad dance, stay put. So instead of just going up and doing a bad dance and embarrassing yourself, you rather just stay put. But that is some of the proverbs, of course, that come up. There's also the last one, which reads, a wound inflicted by a friend does not heal. A wound inflicted by a friend does not heal. And that is true. If something wrong is done to you and it's actually done by a friend, then it will take a whole lot of time to get over it. And the last one reads, a woman's strength is a multitude of words. A woman's strength is a multitude of words. And there are a whole lot of other interesting proverbs that are coming all the way from Djibouti. And therefore, allow me to share with us some of the interesting facts about Djibouti, and then you will see it for yourself. This is a country that really I do not get to talk about. Remember, on the 54 Correspondence show, I want to give us a trip or a tour around the continent, and I just show us what's good with these different countries on the continent.
Walking here at night in Djibouti. It's a very strange place. Everything is gated. There is razor sharp barbed wire on every single wall. I don't think I've ever been to a country with this much security, and really unwarranted. I mean, yes, it's a port. It's in a strategic location across from Yemen, but it's a bit overkill. I was able to find some snacks. The hotel front desk told me there's no shops nearby, but Google Maps had a different story. So he gestured me over to the hotel bar where they sell a single bottle of Coke Zero that I was looking for. Would have set me back 600 Djiboutian francs, which is about 5 USD. I got the same bottle for 100 Djiboutian francs, so pretty crazy prices. Well, good morning from Djibouti City. Today's plan is to get down to the heart of Djibouti City and visit the African and the European quarters.
So if you do see from what you understand is that Djibouti, its capital city, it's also known as Djibouti. So it's like, I think it's the only country on the continent which the name of the country is the name as the name of the city. But I will not even see any difference because Djibouti is also small and it's out there.
It's about 7:20 in the morning right now. I'm going to get down to the breakfast buffet, finish up with that, then head straight out, have a good 4 hours of sightseeing, come back here, enjoy the pool and other amenities. Beautiful view out of Djibouti. This is the Gulf of Aden, so across from here would be Yemen, the south coast of Yemen. So very close to where I'm heading in Oman in the next few weeks. All right, I'm heading out for a day of sightseeing here in Djibouti. You can see that much of the city is quite in a state of disrepair. It is pretty much absolutely true what you hear in the guidebooks. There is really nothing here, at least in this part of town. I'm hoping that there'll be more of interest down in the city center. But as of right now, if gated complexes are your thing, come to Djibouti. It's beautiful gates, I'll give it that. Really colorful buildings, still not downtown. It's been about 25-30 minutes, but my hotel is quite far on the very north end of the peninsula. So it's going to take me a while to get down there, so that's a good sign. This is the Djibouti railway station. It's the end of the line from Addis Ababa. Some Arabic writing on the side of the buildings down here. And there is just a ton of trash everywhere. So kind of hidden in the lots of the buildings, you can see just them being used as kind of informal garbage dumps. So that's disheartening. All right, this is the Djibouti Cathedral. It's one of the city's most prominent landmarks, located right here on Boulevard de la République. Yet another beautiful church. This one is far more showy. With the camera away, though, this is one of those places where if they see you with the camera, you're instantly interrogated. And the worst case is very much possible. So not the friendliest country in the world, that's for sure. It's the I Love Djibouti sign right outside of the post office. Pretty colorful. They put a lot of work into this. A lot of French brands here. So there's a Leader Price supermarket that I saw when I was in Paris. So this is Place Menelik. And there's tons of old French colonial architecture all around. So it's really beautiful actually over here. Lots of greenery. You could probably mistake this for...
I am surprised that with all these French history, that the country has not had coups. I will be checking into that to find out whether Djibouti has had any coups. But I was telling us that Djibouti is not known as a tourist destination. You will not find a bunch of people talking about their tours to the continent and how they enjoyed being in Djibouti. That is not the case. And they are not big on tourism, and it's for reasons I think are well expounded on this particular video.
Your average street in Paris. Pretty beautiful.
You told me asking the police.
Sorry?
The police asking.
Why are they so upset about the cameras here?
No, listen, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You know the station police view over there?
Yeah.
It's like writing the bill, you know, the...
Bill?
Yeah, the bill.
It is also hella corrupt, like you do here, that the locals told him to have a $5 bill, so that anytime the police does stop him, he can give out the money.
Funny, eh? The police try to make money off of the tourists.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful, though, eh?
Yeah.
Is that made from coral?
Yeah.
Coral building.
Yeah.
Oh, really beautiful.
Yeah. Take a picture, no problem. I'll watch you back.
All right, the cops tried to charge me $100 just to take a few photos downtown. So there's a lot of bribery here. I'm gonna head back to the hotel and relax and go to the pool because this is not working out. I guess he's leading me down the side roads into the market. And it stinks down here. Whew. Terrible. God, it smells like urine and feces. Oh my goodness, this is disgusting. Whew. Evidently he knows where to go to avoid the police, so very useful. Pretty filthy here.
I think these streets of Djibouti somewhat reminds me of scenes that I have seen from Somali. The place being very dirty. The place also being, you have cops all over. And if you're turning up with a camera in Djibouti, you will not have a wonderful time. They'll either be like for this particular cracker here, they're charging him $100 just for taking photos, and you might also be taken in and interrogated for being in Djibouti trying to do some vlogging. So it was once part of Ethiopia, but like you did here, there's a whole lot of French history in that particular country, and I would say for many African countries, I don't think, especially at the north let me just say Somalia, Djibouti, those two, Somalia and Djibouti, I wouldn't understand that they are dirty because they do not even have lots of water, running water. Even if they are very, very close to the sea, they do not have running water, and that is the problem with them. I understand that if you try and take water from the ocean or the sea and remove the salt from that, I understand it's also very much expensive. It's energy intensive. But anyhow, you should.
No idea where I'm going. At least this is something quite local. All right, we're aboard a minibus. Try to head back up to the hotel area. It's incredible how uptight there of a cameras here. I am so ready to go. So I'm back at my hotel here in the relative solitude, getting some ports and everything into if you kind of ruin everything. Glad I'm leaving today.
As you can see, this is mostly an Islamic kind of a republic, even if they do have those other churches like you did see in the city center. But come to think of it, there's really not much to see in Djibouti. And let me show you even how it sits on the map so that you can also get to understand what we are talking about. The map of Djibouti on the Djibouti on the East African map. So if you're looking for places to tour on the continent, so far from last week, I did share with us some interesting insights from Cape Verde. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week from Cape Verde. And apart from that, we also shared some interesting insights yesterday from Seychelles. Seychelles is really, really beautiful, but Seychelles also, it's very expensive. If you're trying to be at Seychelles, it's very, very expensive. You'd rather have that money and plan yourself very, very good. For Djibouti, it's not really expensive, but you will not find any comfort there. This is where Djibouti sits on the map. So in case you're wondering what we are talking about, this is Djibouti here. It was one part of Ethiopia. And it's crazy seeing that the leadership in Ethiopia allowed for Djibouti to be annexed, and also for Eritrea, making Ethiopia a landlocked country. If Ethiopia had access to this particular Gulf of Eden and it wasn't landlocked, then there are many benefits that would accrue to Djibouti. So I do not even understand how that got to play out, them letting these places be autonomous. If you look at the size of this, It's really small. It might be the equivalent of a small province inside Ethiopia, as well as Eritrea. Eritrea is also very, very tiny here. Let me try and blow up this particular image. Yeah, this is Djibouti. Of course, overlooking Yemen here. We do have the Red Sea, of course. We do have the Gulf of Eden, and we do have Eritrea here, and we do have Sudan on this other side of Ethiopia, and we also do have Egypt, not very far away from this area. If you're moving up, you would find the image. This is how it looks like. Let me also show a little bit of it. This is how it looks like. We have Somalia on this side, and we also do have Sudan on this side, and then you have Eritrea here and Djibouti. So if you're to go to Eritrea, I understand is a little bit more is much. I have shared a video of Eritrea sometime. They have 11 tribes in Eritrea. I'm not sure how many tribes they have in Djibouti. In Ethiopia, they have 81 tribes. In Somalia, I'm really not sure. For Kenya, we have 47. For Sudan, they are about also 50 tribes in Sudan. For Uganda, I bet they're also about 40 something. But anyhow, the point is that Ethiopia should have never let Eritrea and Djibouti secede because that denies them the opportunity for them to have these access to the ocean. Because on this side, they are blocked by Somalia. And of course, on this side, it's Eritrea and Djibouti. But anyhow, there are some also a few interesting places maybe you might like to check out. And let me show a little bit of this. And then we shall move away from that and go back into South Africa. When you come to the 54 Correspondence Show, there are many countries that are really do not make it to the news. And Djibouti is really one such. But anyhow, we are shedding a spotlight on it. So what I am sharing now is some of the places that maybe perhaps someone would go to if you didn't have any other option and you find yourself in Djibouti and you still really want to check out some places, these would be where you'd go. And that is what it is. I would say this reminds me of another place on the continent where you will not find much in terms of tourism. Last week, I shared a video about Malawi, and I was saying for Malawi, you would have like a handful of places you can go see. And anyhow, on the recent past, we have talked about Cape Verde. If you remember, if you're with us on the show, if you haven't, just check it out. I've also talked about Seychelles yesterday, which was really interesting. And for today, Djibouti, which I think out of the 54 countries on the continent, the places I would really love to go least, I think would be Djibouti will make it top to the top 5 of the places I would love to go. For the places, of course, I would love to go, and I would also urge anyone interested with touring the continent. The number one, the main places that people get to visit on the continent, we do have South Africa. It has so many wonderful places, national parks and things like that. The other place you would go to is Kenya and Tanzania. I believe they are almost equal in terms of their viability or in terms of their appeal. Kenya and Tanzania, they are also high up on the ranking. We also do have Egypt, which also has a variety of places that people can go to. So those are 4 countries. And we also do have Ghana. Ghana is also one of the countries that perhaps you would be interested in going and seeing and having a beautiful time, because their hospitality sector is really much. They have invested a whole lot in their hospitality sector. Those are 5 places. Apart from that, you might also like to go to Zanzibar. Of course, this is when you tour Tanzania. I had already mentioned it. Zanzibar is also a wonderful place to go see. And also, what other place? Seychelles, Mauritius. Yes, Mauritius is also another wonderful place that you might like to go see. Mauritius is not very expensive, I believe, compared to Seychelles. Hopefully, I will be able to share some video of Mauritius very soon, probably tomorrow or the day after. Mauritius. For Cape Verde, we did say, no, the problem is if you're trying to travel to a place, like I said yesterday, you also have to look at the local languages that these people are speaking. So in some places where they speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese, they speak French, like in West Africa, many places in West Africa, they speak French. Those places might not be appealing to a tourist who is coming from an English speaking country, because you will still have difficulties trying to understand what's going on with everything, and everything might seem to be moving either way too quick or way too slow. So you'd rather just consider places that are English speaking nations. And Rwanda is also another beautiful place that you might like to go check out. There are not as many national parks or many offerings for the tourists like you'd have in Kenya and Tanzania, or with South Africa. But also Namibia. Namibia isn't a bad place. Namibia is really also interesting in terms, if you're looking for a place to go see. Namibia is also there. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is not is just there in the middle, not really very fantastic, and also not so bad. So I would say Zimbabwe is also somewhere there. What other place is on the list there? Those are the places. I would say those are the places. There are like 10 countries on the continent that are really interesting, and then we also do have the others that are just there. For the places that you ought not to go, for the places that you shouldn't really even have a plan to go to, maybe at least not in the current predisposition. Somalia is not really a place where our tourists are advised to go do their thing. Sudan as well. Sudan is not really, especially with the revolution that was taking place in Sudan. Not many people want to plan a trip to Sudan. I'm not saying it's not an interesting place. It is, but sometimes you do have instability and the turmoil. The place itself is beautiful. The only problem is the instability and the turmoil. The same with Somalia. Apart from that, we also do have the Central Africa Republic. That is also another country where you ought not to be even looking, and not, especially not in the current situation right now. And of course, Chad as well. We have a country known as Chad. So those are some of the places that maybe, unless you're there for other purposes, not necessarily the tourism. Of course, you would be there for other purposes, but anyhow, it's crazy like that. But for other countries, if you want to come to East Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, it's always a go. You can always tour these particular places and see what's good with them. Remember, this is a Fit for Correspondence show on the Black Hot Network Media for the 21st century, and we are getting to understand Africa a little bit better when we delve into different issues, not only with hospitality and tourism, but also with situations politics in those particular countries. And another thing worth noting is that when you are trying to visit a country, also check out the prevailing weather, because right now we are talking about a place like Durban, where many people would love to travel and go see, having been rocked by a bad weather and a flooding happening, taking the lives of over 60 people, which is rather really unfortunate. In South Africa, what has happened. So like that, what I would love to say is, when you're planning a trip somewhere, like for example in April, you know that in Rwanda, and of course in the East African region, it rains. That's during the rainy season, and therefore you might also be well aware of what season you're getting to tour this particular place at. And also for Kenya, it's also during the April, it's around the rainy season, and therefore you would also like to plan your time or your trip when the weather is also good. Apart from that, you'd also have to check on the elections calendar. I believe if you go to Google and search for the Africa elections calendar, it actually pops up, and you will see this country at this particular time it's having its elections, and therefore do not really plan a trip when you do have a country having its elections. There are a whole lot of uncertainties, especially on the countries on the mainland. For island countries, I understand for many island countries on the continent, they do not have an issue. There is a relative stability when it comes even to election season for island countries, such as the Comoros Island. Even if there was an election, you would still find it rather peaceful in Seychelles, in Mauritius, in other different islands on the mainland of the continent. But when you're talking about places like Kenya, you're talking about places like Tunisia, Cameroon, whatever other place that you like to go to, you have to check the elections calendar. It's very important that if you're planning your tour, you can plan it around a time when you know there is not a whole lot of things going on with the election, because for the campaign season is crazy, the election season is crazy. You find even some cases where there is instability or violence or chaos related to the elections. It's very important that you also get to check into that. But the Blackwood Fan Network has been wonderful. We have a planned tours to Rwanda. That was in 2019, which was really a wonderful experience. I would say if you have never been to Kigali, please make a point. If you have never been to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, also make a point. And those are beautiful places that you would really love to enjoy. The rest of the continent is wonderful. For me, I would not also urge anyone really going to the northern part of the continent, where we do have these Arab countries. There is the level of, they are hospitable, but of course they are also racist at the end of the day. So if you're going to Tunisia, going to Algeria, going to Morocco, going to what other country do you have on top out there? All these countries at the top, I would really not urge anyone really to do a whole lot of planning and going into these particular countries, because we know that the racism is also really in those particular places. If you're not an Arab, they will be treating you in some type of a way. So, like I did say, if you're trying to look at the continent and places you can go, Egypt is good if you're there for a while, but the places that you will be much welcome with a lot of hospitality is lower. You know, you go to East Africa, a bit over some places in West Africa, and also in the southern parts of the continent. That is where you will be able to reconnect with the true spirit of the motherland. But anyhow, family, I want to take us into a matter of what has happened in South Africa right now, because it's our focus. And I will be talking about what's going on with the flooding right after this short music break. Let me just sip some water. Yes, and welcome back. Thank you so much, Sister Michelle, for joining us on the broadcast that you are saying morning to you too. It's actually 20 minutes past 3 p.m. right here in Nairobi. And I hope that wherever you are this day finds you in utmost health. And also, I hope that things are going on pretty well for you. So I want to share with us what is happening in South Africa right now, because there has been the situation of flooding in South Africa, and many people right now are still reported missing from this particular situation. And this is in Durban. Let me share a little bit of what's going on with that so that we can understand more.
Natal, we've just seen that the Department of Education in that province already advising pupils not to attend school tomorrow morning. At least 10 people are missing and 2 people dying over the weekend in Kwamashu and Mlazi as a result of the floods. We have teams from eThekwini emergency services already on the ground assessing the impact. ENCA senior reporter Desin Tatya has been covering that story. We've checked in on him a few times, Desin. So, I mean, it's a pretty nasty day in KwaZulu-Natal with the rain all over the place. Take us through what you are seeing at the moment.
Most definitely, Devin. And I think one of the reasons for just giving you this visual now is to kind of bring you and our viewers on this journey. It's like if you happen to be in the unfortunate position of being on the road. So this seems to be a major part of the problem. What you're seeing here next to me, these are some of the manholes that are actually exploding. The tops are coming off. That speaks to a drainage system that has reached its capacity and it can't cope with the amount of rain that is coming down. Where I am currently is on Ronaldo Road. It's one of the roads in Durban North, not far from where we spoke earlier on. That's where you saw that the road was severely flooded. There were vehicles that were stuck there. Look at this, another car that's now trying to make it. And I must say that this is also part of the problem here. This is some of the dangers that we are seeing. People making U-turns in the middle of anywhere. They are trying to reverse, trying to get away from these bodies of water, like this one that you are seeing now. So this is a significant part of the problem that is causing danger. Also, the neighboring houses that where the ground is being saturated. Not far from here, we saw that there was a landslide that resulted in a woman that was trapped there. We believe that she may have passed away. We're waiting for a confirmation on that. Look at this. Just take a look at what the state of the roads are like around Durban at the moment. This is just one part of it, Devin, that I must tell you. We're getting reports like this. We are seeing pictures much like this all across the city, from the south to the north, in different areas. Cars in places as far as Pondokuza, reports of cars being submerged. The last time we spoke to emergency services, they still said that there were a number of people that were still missing as a result of trying to cross these low-lying bridges in these areas and then getting trapped. So you'll see another vehicle here now making a turn as well. So at the moment, it is a severe situation. The management teams are on the ground, and we are waiting for them to put together those numbers, to collate those numbers. It's something they obviously can't do right now because they are still busy working on the ground. There's been an assurance from the eThekwini municipality, because remember, in the past, there's been a lot of criticism leveled at the municipality about the state of its drainage systems, which could be contributing to the flooding that you are seeing now. And they say that they are also dispatching teams, if they haven't already, to try to unblock some of these drains. So that is the state at the moment. The rain continues to come down. It seems like it won't be stopping anytime soon. You know, Devin, I saw a very disturbing picture trying to get there, hopefully, if the roads and the weather is a little bit kinder to us, of some houses up north on the towards Tongaat, where they're submerged so deep that you can just see the top of the garage doors and the roof. The rest of it is completely submerged. I'm also getting reports of the N2 being completely flooded in the region of Umhlali. So that's the N2 north, which will take you to places like Richards Bay. This is the current state that we're facing now. Remember, the rest of it could still come through tomorrow. I'm now near an area called Avoca. Down here, this road that you're seeing in front of me takes us to the freeway as well. This is very concerning. Many of the roads that lead to main routes like the N2 are blocked, and this is the situation right now. So what we have now is a situation where we'll have to wait to see what tomorrow brings and how these teams manage with what happens overnight. But right now, I can tell you the word on the ground and what we are seeing, the reports that we are getting, they are severely stretched.
Yeah, no, thanks very much indeed, and please do be safe. Jason Tatia on the ground there in Durban North. Incredible scenes of roads really being flooded. You can see the one in front of him on the picture on your screen there, leading up to the highway. Looks like a river indeed, and that's one of the main roads in that Avoca area in Durban North. And very shocking scenes. Earlier on, before we crossed to this, and we mentioned that the KwaZulu-Natal Education Department sending out a circular saying that school pupils should stay at home tomorrow, particularly in those affected areas. If they come across scenes like that, be it a river or a road, it could be very dangerous indeed. So they're encouraging pupils to stay at home in those affected.
This is how the situation is, like you did here. So many people have actually lost their lives, and it's rather unfortunate. When it comes to disaster preparedness on the continent, we do have a problem with that, because people really would rather be reactive as rather than being proactive. Preparedness is a problem on the continent.
Died in the devastating floods in KZN, and government says there could be more. Dozens are still missing. The floods have swept away homes, cars, roads, and disrupted water supply in Durban. President Cyril Ramaphosa and some of his cabinet ministers are visiting affected areas, and our senior reporter Desin Tathia joins us now live to give us an update. Desin, 300 more police officers deployed to KZN. Of course, I can imagine even emergency services are assisting the SANDF, etc. How's it looking right now? What are the rescuers telling you?
Well, they are stretched to the limit, and that has been the situation since the start of these floods. Even on that day, you had all of these teams out the entire night as those rains lashed Durban. What I have for you now, Maseko, is a bit of a grim story. Behind me, there was a body recovery that was taking place. Just look at the terrain that you see around us now. So the mud had engulfed this particular area. The Umgeni River is not far from where I am. It's off to my right. So you'll see some of those search and rescue members that are coming through now. They've just completed that task of moving a container that had collapsed. It's an informal dwelling. Unfortunately, I can't take you very close because the scene is cordoned off by the police officers that are working here. But it's up at the top behind this building. That was where a man was reportedly trapped after the dwelling that he was in caved. It was he's been there since these floods hit KZN, so it's probably about 2 days now. It has taken a lot of work for those that have been on this case. We've got members of the eThekwini Fire Services, search and rescue members, police officers that are here. They've literally been struggling to move the structures, because remember, that needs to be done first before they can continue with their work. And it's also a very difficult time for families as well. And this is the nature of what they're dealing with now. Initially, you have the first phase of where it's a rescue that they are trying to perform, and slowly, as time progresses, it then turns to the other side of things, which becomes this task that they have now, which becomes the body recovery. So not an easy situation to get through. And if you take into account what I've just told you now, 2 days on a...
So apart from the flooding, there was also the issue of landslides, in the country. And it's really unfortunate because for some people, I understand, not many families, of course, are insured, or they have insurance or cover for all these kind of distraction. So it means for many people in this area that were still also living in poverty before we go to this particular situation, things are going to be very, very dark for them. Adding on to the situation with the inflation in South Africa and the economy, how the poor state of the economy in South Africa is going to be even worse.
Have caused havoc in the city of Durban, one of Africa's largest ports. Shipping containers have been carried away or strewn across submerged motorways.
Into splits.
Commuters forced to abandon their vehicles and walk. Train services across KwaZulu-Natal province have been suspended to clear the rails after land and mudslides. Thousands of houses and informal homes have been damaged and families displaced. Jumba pulled his youngest child from the soil pouring onto his home.
I got nowhere to go now. I got no house, I got no nothing. There's my family is there by my neighbors. We tried to give me the place to sleep last night. We never sleep last night. The situation is very, very bad.
Muthunzi was asleep in his truck and says he made a narrow escape.
At 3
a.m., I felt the truck shaking, and I thought maybe someone bumped it. When I opened the curtain, I saw the water level was very high.
With the motorways linking the port to the commercial capital Johannesburg submerged underwater, global shipping firm Maersk has suspended its operations. The flooding has also damaged parts of the city that had just rebuilt from riots last July.
Cleaning up the road after the severe rain from last night, washing down the mud and the banks of people's houses, and since we've been trying to get people to come and sort it out, no one's come.
These are the Muzungu, the beast you will find in South Africa, in Durban and Johannesburg, in other different places. The white minority, for them, the impact, is not as severe because for them their houses are well built. But for the rest of the populace there, it's a whole different story.
So it's the residents are not taking charge.
The South African Weather Service won't attribute the storms to climate change, but says this kind of rain may become the new normal in the years ahead. Andrew Chappelle, Al Jazeera.
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right song.
So that's a little bit of what's going on with South Africa, but I hope the government also gets to intervene and at least give some reprieve for those particular people in KwaZulu Natal who are also going through difficult times right now. But moving a little bit further from that, but then anyhow, that does not take away the place of South Africa in terms of being an attractive place where someone can still get to ponder on investment or think or consider for investment. Because the other day on the Fit for Correspondence show, I was talking about places that are considered very much or they are considered plausible for consideration when it comes to investment on the continent. And I was saying South Africa is really working very, very hard. They did have an investment summit that was concluded the other day, which was actually towards drawing or bringing in more foreign investment. So it's a weather. I hope that the government also beefs up its effort in terms of weather systems. They would have maybe given an alert or a warning, which happens in other different countries of the continent, but that was not done. South Africa is Africa's most industrialized country, but we still have challenges such as that with extreme weather there. But anyhow, I wanted us to take us all the way into Nigeria, and what is happening in Nigeria right now. Nigeria is trying to fill up the shoes of Russia when it comes to supplying Europe with oil, and the extent of the exports to or the import of oil by European countries from Nigeria. Right now, it's going to be expanded. So on Monday, the European Union ambassador to Nigeria, Samuel Osopi, together with France, Italy, of course, did make a call. Together with France, Italy, Portugal, Spain, met with the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company. The European Union is quoting its first African liquefied natural gas supplier. The European Union ambassador to Nigeria, Samuel Osopi, together with France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain ambassador, visited Monday the headquarters of the NNPC and met with the company's management. The visit came as Europe tries to reduce its reliance on Russian gas. But I think if you ask me, this is also going to be the call also for Algeria, because Algeria at the top there, the north of Africa, is also another country that gets to supply Europe with fuel. I believe about 11% of their oil needs are met by Algeria. And of course, this is a little bit of what did happen. Let me share a bit of it. We have Angola, Algeria, and Nigeria, and also Sudan, which are the biggest producers of oil on the continent.
The European Union is The European Union is
I don't know what's happening now. Why is not
The European Union is The European Union is
the videos are buffering. Let me see if I'm able to get the opportunity to share that particular video. But like I was saying, in the meantime, is that we do have some of the largest Africa's oil producing countries on the continent include Nigeria, which I believe is the largest oil producing country on the continent. It's actually, I'm not sure, is it Nigeria or Algeria? Let me just confirm real quick. It might be Nigeria or Algeria. I bet it's Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, honey, yeah, of course it is. And this is Nigeria being the largest or the biggest oil producing country on the continent. We also do have Algeria. We also do have Angola. Apart from Angola, we also do have Sudan. Sudan is also another big oil producing country on the continent. And apart from that, we also do have smaller other oil producing countries. For example, Equatorial Guinea, which has made its riches from the production of oil. But rather, it's unfortunate that many people in that particular country are not.
Its first African liquefied natural gas supplier. The EU ambassador.
Sorry about that. That was a video I had queued a little bit earlier on. Let me see if I'm able to play it now. I hope I'm able to share it real quick as we proceed, and I show before I show you what other countries on the continent can also be viable options in terms of an alternative for Europe.
Nigeria, together with France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain's ambassador. The European Union is wooing its first African liquefied natural gas supplier. The EU ambassador to Nigeria, together with France, Italy, Portugal, and Spain's ambassador, met with the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company. Their visit to the headquarters of the NNPC on Monday came as Europe tries to reduce its reliance on Russian gas. After the United States and Qatar, Russia was in 2021 Europe's third liquefied natural gas supplier. The European envoys to Nigeria therefore sought to strengthen their cooperation in the energy sector with Africa's top economy. According to a statement by the NNPC spokesperson, the group managing director assured the European delegation that the company would continue to deepen its relationships with EU companies in Nigeria. He added the company would work particularly towards increasing gas supply to the global market. The same day, Italy secured a deal with Algeria for more natural gas imports. Nigeria and Algeria are the biggest African liquefied natural gas suppliers to the old continent.
And yes, I wasn't wrong with that. That is exactly what happens on the continent. We do have Algeria and Nigeria. Of course, there's also a rhyme there, Nigeria and Algeria, when it comes to the names of these two particular countries. But yes, we also do have other smaller countries. Angola, for Angola, I believe their oil and petroleum product and natural gas is actually sold to countries such as their former colonial power, which is Portuguese or Portugal. That is where the most of their oil will be going to, as well as other different nations in the world. But anyhow, apart from that, I really also wanted to touch on something else that is going on the continent. And of course, this happens to be with the issue of the e-levy. And this was introduced in Ghana, which has brought about some backlash, on part of the government, because the government said that for e-commerce platforms, and also digital payments that are made through e-commerce platforms, and also made mobile money, digital payment systems, and also internet-based payment systems. All these will be subject to a new levy, which is known as the electronic or the e-levy. And the people do feel that it's going to hurt more businesses that are really just trying to start up. And therefore, the government have said, even for people who are getting their salaries or their payments through mobile money, they will also start getting taxed. And you remember when I was sharing an interview of Nana Akufo-Addo, who is the president of Ghana, he also said that this is going to help the country raise more revenue. But I think he should have also thought about this particular move. So they say salaries that are paid through the and salaries received through mobile money platforms in Ghana will be affected with the recently passed electronic transfer levy, which is expected to start in May this year. Monies from bank accounts to mobile money platforms will attract 1.50 mobile money charge. Principal revenue officer at the Ghana Revenue Authority said in an interview with a private radio station. For the banks, the disbursement from corporate accounts were not mentioned, so it is clear that one is exempt. But in Momo, there was no distinction between a corporate Momo account and the individual Momo account. So that is the mobile money. That is what we're talking about, mobile money in their own country. In Africa, mobile money is huge. Let me talk about East Africa, because we have one of the biggest one of the biggest mobile money platforms. It's known as M-Pesa. And I think M-Pesa was also, did they have M-Pesa also outside Africa? I think they also introduced M-Pesa outside Africa in Albania. Was it? Let me see where they introduced M-Pesa. It might have been Albania. M-Pesa introduced in Albania. Let me see. Because it has been a big success. So in case you're planning on sending anyone money on the continent, or you have business on the continent, of course business naturally runs on money, therefore Albania, therefore you might also consider taking out these many different options that will give you convenience, and not just convenience. These are platforms as well that will also afford you value for your time and your money. But in Ghana, in case you want to set up a business that maybe perhaps has to do with internet-based payment systems, then you will also be subject to this particular levy that has now been introduced. Many people in parliament are also not with it. Some people in parliament, they did not support the move, but nonetheless, it has been pushed through, and it will be starting in May, which is a problem on the continent. But moving a little bit further from that and going into the issue of fuel, I had said into the issue of oil. We have oil producing countries on the continent that you would think that they would be rich, be an oil producer. The problem with the many African countries. Nigeria is the richest country on the continent because of their oil production, but the levels of poverty and the inequality levels are very, very high. And therefore, even for many people, there is no benefit really accruing from that. 1% of the population, the elite or the political elite, and are those that have real connections that are able to enjoy the wealth that is coming in from the sale of oil. The rest of the populace, people are living in poverty. Most people living actually under the poverty line, which is below, is it $2 a day? Yeah, it's below $2 a day on the continent, which is really crazy. But anyhow, here are the 10 African countries with the largest crude oil production output in 2021. And of course, our Business Insider did present 10 countries with the largest crude oil production in 2021. According to Statista, African proven crude oil reserves stood at 125.3 billion barrels in 2021 alone. As of November 2021, the average price per barrel of crude $81.54. This was the price per barrel of crude oil. And of course, for many years, crude oil has been a major revenue driver for most African. Report by statistics. This is number 2 is Nigeria. So I don't know, Libya has not been there was a problem with the production of oil in Libya because of the upheaval and because of the instability in that particular country. So I'm not sure whether they have gone back to full production or the production at a maximum capacity. I am not sure about that. But Libya, this was Muammar Gaddafi, is a country where people were able to benefit much better from the sale of oil compared to other African countries. In Libya, during Muammar Gaddafi's regime or tenure, he actually made sure that people were getting educated. They were getting a better quality of life, getting a free education, even to the university level or the higher learning. They used to get it for free. For Nigeria, this is not the case. I just said for Nigeria, it's only a few individuals that are getting to benefit from the sale of this oil. It comes in as number 2. Algeria is also there. Angola is also number 4 there. Sudan, number 5. Egypt as well, number 6. Congo, Brazzaville at number 7. Uganda, Gabon, Chad, and etc. And I would say Equatorial Guinea has not been mentioned on this. So I would say they are also playing around with this particular one. But anyhow, it's still an enlightening report. Okay, I get it. Now this is the top 10. Let me get it right. This is the top 10. Nigeria, the West African country, produces the average daily crude oil production was at 1.27 million barrels per day. For Nigeria, it is at 1.21 million. For Libya. For Libya, it's 1.21 million barrels per day. For Angola, it's 1.1 million. For Algeria, it's 959,000 barrels per day. Egypt, it's 559. The Republic of Congo is 253 barrels a day. Gabon is 188 barrels a day, 188,000 barrels a day. For Ghana, it's the West African country has 176 barrels per day. Equatorial Guinea, it's at 71,000 barrels. And for Chad, the production was at 70,000 barrels per day. So that makes it the top 10 countries that do produce oil on the continent and in terms of their output. But relative to their development, in as much as you will hear these countries being labeled as the most oil-producing countries on the continent, when it comes to their development, for Gabon, for Chad, for these other countries, it's a problem. Most of these countries are unstable, and not really much is happening in terms of economic growth unless things turn around. But anyhow, for me, it has been a delight getting to discuss different issues. I hope this particular show gives you a better perspective on the continent of Africa, and I hope that it also arouses your interest in terms of what's going on with the continent and how you can also be part of what's happening with the continent. It's always good to have a connection with the motherland to also keep abreast with what's happening on the continent. It's really rather important because the continent, the motherland, is also your piece. It belongs to you as well as a Black person right here in Kenya, in Africa, in the USA, in the diaspora, anywhere. You all as an African, whether be it in America, in the Caribbean, this is the motherland. Actually, is also part and parcel of it. It belongs to you as well. But anyhow, it has been a delight getting to discuss these different issues. When I talk about tourism, talk about business, talk about resources mining, it's all in the interest of getting to shape our opinion and our perspective about the continent of Africa. So much peace and love. I want to wish you a happy and a productive remaining part of the day. Remember also to join us on the Africa Today show as we get to discuss different issues. Yesterday we talked about the explosion in New York. The shootings in New York. That was a hoax. That has been proven by many other platforms not to be a legit situation. But anyhow, we shall talk about that and much more issues. Thank you so much for being part of the Black Fire Network. For those that have been supporting the network, we truly value and appreciate you. It's not in vain, and I hope also it offers some value to the knowledge that you already have, and we hope to keep it interactive. In case you have a question, you can always email me, blackfireafrica@gmail.com. I would also like to hear from you. And also, we keep on building together and also inspire African unity, because that is where we need to be. Till next time, much peace and love. Sister Michelle, thank you so much. Sister Lightbearer, asante sana dada. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Asanteni.